This is the year 1900, and after 63 years, Queen Victoria is still our reigning monarch. Alan McLean is the Premier of our colony of Victoria. Federation and the Commonwealth of Australia is to be next year. Let's go on a tour of Doncaster Road. Just over the Coonung Creek in 1865, a toll gate operated close to this point after it was moved from near Elgar Road because everyone was trying to avoid tolls by going around. The toll for this horse I'm riding would have cost 1.5 pence, a lot of money back then. Next to the Coonung Creek is the Morning Star Hotel. It is said that when the creek overflowed its banks during a flood, guests at the hotel would sleep on the table. There was a number of houses close to the hotel and High Street, which led to Templestowe. A little way up Smedley's cutting from the hotel was the home of Thomas Petty, after whom Petty's Lane is named. Now the house is occupied by Jacob Schmidt and family. I might give the horse a little breather as I gaze at Tullamore, probably the grandest house in the district. It's owned by the famous surgeon Sir Thomas Fitzgerald, who at the moment is in South Africa. Just look at how good Doncaster Road is today. About 20 years ago, it was so bad it caused a buggy to capsize. The occupant sued the council for damages, and it cost our council £2,000. It's been a bit of an uphill walk along Doncaster Road, and the good-looking houses and orchards after Tullamore. On the corner of Elgar Road is the nice tea rooms, and opposite is a number of shops. The tram from Box Hill used to stop near this corner, but times have been tough for the past few years, and the tram stopped running 4 years ago. Here's a poster advertising the tram. Train from the city to Box Hill and then tram to Doncaster, all for 1 6 No wonder it went broke during the Depression. During the land boom back 10 years ago, in 1890, Mr. Richard Serple planned a grand row of 2-storey brick shops for the area. He only got to build one on this corner of Williamson's Road. Nice shop, but at the moment it is vacant. Next door to Serple's corner store is the Grand Mount Edgecombe, built by the mother of Richard Serple, Mrs. Jane Serple. Across the road from Mount Edgecombe is Mr. Schilling's greengrocer's shop, and next to that is the police station, which is hidden from view behind a no longer in use estate agent's office. A few houses and a couple of shops, and then everyone wants to visit the famous tower, and next door is the Tower Hotel. This is the 3rd tower. The first 2 blew down, but Mr. Hummel was not going to be beaten, and so he built this a few years ago, and it's 285 feet high. People would organise picnics to visit, and the grounds around were very popular. Talking of popular, the hotel did a roaring trade from all of the visitors. Across the road is Bayview, a fine property and the centre of so many grand dinners and parties. A room became the first agency for the ES&A Bank. Almost next door is the Church of Christ, and a fine building it is. Back across the road and down Council Street just a little way is the Shire Hall. It was built in 1892, and there was a huge celebration for the opening Funny story of that day. A key was produced to open up the building, but it was the wrong key. Next door to the Shire Hall in Doncaster Road is State School number 197. Today, the school has about 140 students. A busy place is the post office, telegram office, newsagent and grocer. One day we'll get the newfangled telephone in the district. Talking of newfangled, about 10 years ago the government announced that we'd be getting a train line to Doncaster. I'm looking forward to that happening, rather than a long coach ride to Kew and then the cable tram to the city. Next to the post office, here is the old butcher shop, not being used at the moment, and another casualty, unfortunately, from the Depression. Pastor Max Schramm has been a very solid citizen for many years in the district. He started up a school at this building, which was also his residence. Later, he moved to be the pastor at the Lutheran Church in Bismarck Street. At the moment, he is the registrar of births, deaths and marriages. Henry Thiel has a small general store and his house is next door. As a mark of respect, when someone in the district has died, Henry would close some of the shutters of his shop window. As we head down Doncaster Hill, there is a fine view of orchards and farms. One of the best houses in the district is owned by the Zander brothers. This house was built in 1896 after their first house burnt down. Set back from Doncaster Road is the stone Holy Trinity Church of England. It has occupied this site since 1869 and is an important part of our district. A centre for so much activity is the Athenaeum Hall. There are plays, musicals, dances, teas and meetings, and it's also our library. Earlier this year, there was a banquet in honour of Pastor Schramm. As we come to the corner of Bismarck Street, there is the Doncaster Hotel and Hall. The hall has been a bit of a white elephant and doesn't get much use. The hotel is a popular spot, and the Doncaster Racing Club are frequent patrons at the hotel. Across the corner is the business operated by the Hillman brothers. The blacksmith shop is a community centre and many people gather here to watch the fine decorators at their work. We've almost reached the end of our journey along Doncaster Road, but there is one more house to see. Plassey, the elegant house of Albert Zelius. The Doncaster Recreation Reserve is the end of our tour. Time for the horse to be watered and a bit of a snack on the grass as we watch the competitive wood choppers at work. Sadly, of all the 67 buildings listed in the original thesis for the year 1900, only 15 remained in 1972 when the thesis was written. Now only 8 remain. They are Tullamore, the Shire Hall, the State School building now repurposed, the Church of Christ, altered and extended, the Zander Home, Holy Trinity Church, the original building still intact, Plassey, and of course Schramm's Cottage, which has been relocated and now is the central part of our museum.